So Christ was on his way into incarnation at that time when he appeared to Moses. That was one level of his process of incarnation, coming from the central sun at the heart of our galaxy. That is, when Christ speaks the words, "I and the Father are one," he is revealing that he was born from the divine heart of the Father, which is at the Galactic Center, also known esoterically as the central sun. Everything is born out of this center at the heart of our galaxy.
Yeah, we've had conversations about that before. That's really
Yes.
interesting. How you believe that that's where this spirit comes from. Is like what's the name of that actually in astronomy? What's that called?
The Galactic Center.
It's called the Galactic Center.
Yeah.
Does it have like a fancy Greek name or whatever? Like Arcturus or something like that?
No, because it was not discovered. The Galactic Center was not discovered until the 1950s.
Oh wow!
By astronomers, and so. It doesn't have an ancient name, but it's the central sun. Some estimate that it's probably 500 million times more powerful than our sun. The power of the central sun we can think of when we hold in consciousness, as discovered in modern astronomy, that there are something like 200 billion suns, like our suns, revolving around this center. Now you imagine the power of our sun. The power of our sun, we know, is holding 8 or 9 planets and countless asteroids in their orbits around it. But just imagine the power of this cosmic center at the heart of our galaxy, the central sun that is holding in their orbits approximately 200 billion suns. So it's an immense power. This is the divine heart at the center of our galaxy from which everything has been born. And we could say it's the presence of the Creator in the heart of our galaxy. And in the heart of all galaxies, the Creator is mystically present at the galactic center of every single galaxy. And in our galaxy, the Creator has empowered the Divine Son, Christ, to proceed from this divine heart, the central sun, and in a long process of incarnation to descend in stages down to incarnate eventually in the human being, Jesus of Nazareth, whose the preparation for his birth took place over a long period of time. Began with Abraham and the chosen people who had the mission of preparing this very special body, this perfect human body, the body of Jesus of Nazareth, into whom Christ was able to incarnate as the bearer of the I Am consciousness. And this is the gift of this incarnation of Christ to every human being who chooses to receive this gift of Christ, as is apparent in the case of St. Paul, who at the gates of Damascus had this supersensible encounter with Christ and was actually blinded for 3 days, and then realized, this is the Son of God. And then after this point in time, he used the expression, "Not I, but Christ in me." In other words, that is bringing to expression this possibility of receiving Christ into one's own personality. And this, in ancient times, was known as the process of divinization of the human being. The Greek term is theosis, the divinization of the human being, the becoming divine of the human being. That is the gift of Christ. It is not a matter of denying our human personality, as we find in many Eastern mystical teachings, which declare that one has to eradicate the ego in order to come to one's divine consciousness. But rather it is a matter of receiving Christ into one's I, and going through this process of divinization, not I but Christ in me, or as the Christian mystics describe it, what they refer to in mysticism is the divine union with Christ, and through this one becomes transformed. This is the process of divinization.
Yeah, the allowing of the Christ Spirit to come in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the first level of the transformation that takes place in the human being on this path of theosis is the development of Christ consciousness. The I am coming to the experience of one's higher nature, which we all have, is part of what we could call the divine spark within us. And this is what has to become born. In the course,
born again, right? Yeah.
Born again.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And it's interesting.
We begin to see everything with new eyes, awakened eyes at this through this birth of I am consciousness, or Christ consciousness within. So Jesus of Nazareth was the first to truly receive Christ into his being. And of course, in that case, as a very special archetype, because he went through higher levels than simply what we're referring to as Christ consciousness, or the divine I am within.
Higher levels of what?
High levels of transformation of his being. So when we contemplate the human being, there is the level of the physical body, and to have an understanding of the physical body, imagine you behold a corpse and behold the sleeping human being, and you ask, well, what's the difference? In the case of the corpse, you're beholding the physical body without the life body, or etheric body as it's sometimes called, permeating it. And with the sleeping individual, you are seeing also the physical body is permeated by the life body, which maintains the beating of the heart, our breathing, all our life functions, the circulation of the blood, and all of this is the activity of the life body, or the etheric body, which is united with us from the moment of conception until the moment of death. And at the moment of death then separates from the physical body. But indwelling the life body is also the soul and the spiritual level of the human being. So the human being has a physical body, a life body or etheric body, a soul and a spirit. The soul and the spirit, of course, are the higher levels of the human being. And so it is in the first stage of connecting with Christ is on the level of the spirit. That is what Christ offers us in complete freedom. Nobody is obliged to receive this, but those who are baptized receive what is called the sign of Christ, which is the cross. It is the cross that Christ established on the hill of Golgotha, where he sacrificed himself for humanity, for all human beings, and for the whole earth.
Yeah.
This was a tremendous sacrifice, pouring out divine love for every human being and for the whole earth, all creatures of the earth. So to say, like if we think of how if we hold up a prism and the light passes through the prism and becomes 7 beams, 7 different colours, 7 rays of light. These 7 I am statements are actually like the rays of the one I am, beaming through and then coming to expression. And he spoke these I am sayings in order to impart to us the seed impulse, or mantra is the Hindu word for what we could express these I am sayings are Christ-given mantras for the transformation of the organs of the astral body in the Hindu tradition called chakras. There are 7 of them, and these organs can be brought into movement and become light-filled through these I am sayings of Christ, if one knows how to work with that.
So you're talking about the planetary energies that
yes,
work.
and to my astonishment found extraordinary details of how Christ was working with the planets and with the stars, with the whole starry heavens. So this of course makes sense if we know that he came from the center of our galaxy. So he knows everything. He knows every star. He knows the planets in our solar system. He is a great cosmic being whose mission it was to begin to lift us up to these cosmic levels of experience.
Wow.
So we have reached now a very special time in evolution with this year 2020 and with the events that are taking place in this year. And I'm going to go into this, but first of all, this is just background so that we can understand that the Christ is truly the Son of God, and that he came and united himself with the human being, Jesus of Nazareth, in order to show us the path of evolution that we can all take, the goal of which is actually the overcoming of death, which he attained through the resurrection.
Not by putting your consciousness to a cyborg, right?
No, definitely not.
That's not how you do it.
No, that will be a virtual resurrection, and that is one of the things we're going to come back to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Don't get tricked by the Luciferian force. Don't do it. I know you watch and you're like, you want to put your head in the computer. Don't do it.
Now, in my studies, I found that just as we can speak of an incarnation of Christ coming from the central sun of our galaxy 2,000 years ago, that the one who is referred to in the book of Revelation as the bride of the Lamb, or the bride of Christ, that is the divine feminine counterpart of Christ, who in Greek is called Sophia. Sophia is the Greek word for wisdom, and that she is on her path of descent, coming from the central sun to bring in the divine feminine. And there are important stages of this incarnation. I've posted an article about this on the Sophia Foundation website if anybody's interested in following it up. And at the start of the age of Aquarius is when Sophia will unite with our sun and will be streaming out from there a new life energy, a healing energy. And so in a certain respect, we could refer to the age of Aquarius also as the age of Sophia. This is being prepared, and these different manifestations of the Virgin Mary, who is connected with Sophia, have to do with water. And so we begin to see this connection between Sophia, Mary, and the element of water. Beautiful spirit, the origin and sire of all living matter, the visible image and likeness of the universal Son, the living icon of the one God, allow me too to join my voice, audible to you alone, to the global chorus of your praise. Love us, O Radiant One.
Wow. Beautiful. When was this written?
Well, Daniel Andreev had the misfortune of living in Russia at the time of Stalin,
Okay.
and it was not really it was not safe to be, as he was, a poet and visionary mystic. He was arrested by the KGB. Everything, all his poetry, everything he'd written was destroyed. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, also his wife. But while he was in prison, his visions continued.
John again says, so if the magnetic poles switch Sunday, would that affect the sacred sites of healing waters? Thus, the continents' shifts change the sacred sites, their healing abilities over the years, maybe according to ancient texts.
I think it's very possible, and we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we will know. You're gonna find out.